Afternoon. I'm just going to talk about Cartas the invitation. Basically, what it is right now, we're going through this process because we're bringing my mother-in-law over on holiday from the Philippines and have to go through all the embassy process. Now, a Carta invitation is basically a letter from me that is given to the my mother-in-law, who then takes it to the Spanish embassy in Manila, and then she processes it. First thing I want to say, it's not a letter. It's actually a document that's given to you by going to the foreigner's office, and it's basically a form. You fill it all in, give all the information. So it's not like you're going to go, oh, they're going to visit grandparents, all that sort of stuff. It's an official document. It's not a letter in the sense of a normal letter requesting someone's visit. Now, part of the issues with this, like anything else that relates to embassies and people coming with visas, is there's a load of requirements. And I'm just going to run through some of them because they vary area to area. They shouldn't do, but sometimes they do. First thing is you're going to need a padron. Now, the padron will be for where they're going to stay. And if they're staying in the property that you're living in, for example, and you've got the padron for that, you're going to need the nota simple, which is a document that you can only get with the registration document for that property, which is normally tied in with the deeds of the property. So if you're renting a property, you will need to get in touch with a landlord or somebody else to get that information. I also am aware that the NIE and stuff are tightening up, and some have been requested for the nota simple. I assume it's to do with tax. I'm not 100%, but it has been something that's been brought up recently that it's been requested. Now, if you do it yourself, being the owner, so if the owner does it, it's $10.61. If you don't have that registration document and stuff, you can't actually do it. You will need to get an agent to do it, and there's only certain agencies that have got access to this. They pay on a yearly subscription, all this sort of stuff, and they will charge you €50 for that same piece of information. But you will need the nota simple for them stopping at your property. Now, if they are staying at a hotel, B&B, whatever, they will need a full booking, prepaid, and that's what the embassy requirement is. This is for the Spanish embassy in the Philippines. So you may find that somewhere else might be a bit more lenient as long as you've got a booking and it's not prepaid, might not be an issue, because the whole problem with this is, unless it's been confirmed, you could be throwing money away because there could be delays that mean that the time you booked accommodation for may actually be before they arrive, because if you get any delays, it changes everything. So bear that in mind. If they're not staying at your property, then they will need to have a fully paid booking. But sometimes you don't. Depends on the embassy. The other thing with that is the amount of money. If the person's coming on holiday, it's relevant to how much you can earn, or if they're coming on their own, it's how much money they've got themselves and why they would be going back home. So it can actually change that slightly as well, whether they're paying for accommodation or you're fully accommodating with food, accommodation, etc. Because obviously you know yourself, if you stay with friends or go and stay in a hotel, the price differences are huge. Another one, rental contract. So if they are staying with you, you will need a rental contract as well. You'll need to take along your residency card, passport, and the price on this for the first person is €79.20. For the second, for two people, $85.56. 3 people, $91.92. So the cost of this for 3 people is just under €100, which isn't too bad. Now, what happens once you've got this and you filled in the form, like it says, the carta, the invitation, the letter you get from the police national, not police national, the foreigner's office. You fill that in. You take all this information with you, book an appointment at the foreigner's office. They then go and will do their bit. One of the things I do recommend doing is getting all the information together. If you're no good at Spanish, do a Google Translate. Just say, I don't speak a lot of Spanish. I apologize for that. write it all in Spanish. Just Google Translate it. Are all my documents complete? If not complete, can you please write it in Spanish and I'll translate it myself? Thank you very much. Before you book the appointment. Because that way you can go in there, hand over your documents, they'll flick through them, and they'll go, you need this. For our case, it's, as usually, complex. So like today we went down and they wanted another couple of documents. Not an issue. But the whole point is, before we book the appointment, much better. Because I go in today, can't do it today, go and sort out the other documents, go back, everything's fine, submit the documents. Once they review it, they will actually give you the confirmation the following day. Now, I assume somewhere else in Spain, they'll probably do it within an hour. It really depends on the areas, because Spain's the same as the Philippines. It's regional. Every office seems to work independent of each other. Although all these things are embassy level, at the end of the day, it's a national thing, but they sometimes vary. And that's basically it. Now, if anybody wants to share some links for lawyers and documents, when I say lawyers, I'm not talking about canvassing. I'm talking about the fact where a lawyer has actually written a document about how to do this process, or want more information on this, or offering a bit of advice. Yes, fine. But I don't want to see Joe's or Bidigos or whatever, phone, whatever. That's spamming. Got to be of value to the people actually read the comments. So please put a bit of effort in, and I'll quite happily leave them on there. Because at the end of the day, this makes life easier for everybody. And like I said, if you do need Nota Simple, your landlord should be able to get it for you because you need the number off it. Otherwise, it's going to be about €50. So if somebody quotes you more than that, be aware they're ripping you off. NIE recently, somebody was paying €120 for an NIE. Shouldn't it be? I mean, I'm not being funny. NIE is so easy to do. Even if you don't speak Spanish, that little thing I say about doing with Google, just simply translate, I'm here for an NIE. I apologize, I don't speak very good Spanish. I've got my documents here. Is there anything else I need? You can write it in Spanish and I'll translate it when I get home. And because once you've got the information, because a lot of this is just this, tick, 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 tick. So if you get all the ticks in the boxes, it's done. It's not like a interview where you sat there having to explain how you're going to live in Spain or whatever. They just want to see the information. So bear that in mind. You don't need to be paying some of these people €120. Unless they're, I mean, I'm not being funny. There was a document being processed by somebody last week for another friend of ours, and they're currently delaying it because the lawyer is waiting until he's got 10 of them or whatever to do. Now, he's charged them all a premium rate as if he was just going down for them, but he's doing them at probably 10 a time. So even for him, he's going to walk in there, he's got it all set out because he knows the process and he speaks Spanish. He'll be in and out of there in 20 minutes and be walking away with probably nearly €1,000 or more. And this is the thing, there's a lot of overcharging here and a lot of the stuff you can do yourself, which is why I'm saying this one. But at the same time, I know a lot of people don't want the headache, they don't want to learn Spanish, don't want to deal with the people, but in most cases, they want to see you anyway. Like this, Cartas de Invitation, it's my letter, so I still have to go whether I like it or not. And a lot of other documents are exactly the same, because if you're the person on it, a lot of the time they want to see you in person anyway. What I would say is try yourself first. Doesn't work, and you're struggling with it, then get somebody to help you with it. I mean, the other thing is you could speak to Andreas. Andreas is a friend of mine. He actually works for a legal and accounting firm here in Spain. So he can help you with these things, but it's going to be at a day rate or an hourly rate because it's not his rate. You're actually booking through a legal company, but at the same time, you've got quality of service, you've got peace of mind, and that's why I quite happily promote that. And like I said, if anybody else wants to promote things below, no problem whatsoever. The main thing is got to be to value of anybody that watches the videos and anybody that is actually reading the comments. I'm not a billboard. All right, thanks for watching.